So I turned on Channel 5 News at 6, and it says, ICE takes Uber driver accused of sexually assaulting passenger into custody. Now I have this on closed captions. I don't want to make too long of a video, and this could tip over and make me angry. Breaking news. A bug dog. A blind bug. A blind bug. Immigration officials have just I guess I have to read it fast. Immigration officials have just taken an Uber driver accused of sexually assaulting a passenger into custody. The ICE action comes just hours after Jose Alvarez... Oh, God, that's me. I can't read it that fast. That's why it's hard to read closed captions when you put them on. They go too fast. After Jose Avalos faced charges in Faminga District Court today. Court documents indicate the victim requested a ride from the Red Roof Inn in Southbridge to her job in Ashland something. Prosecutors say he offered to pay her for sex, then sexually assaulted her. Okay. That's all it says, and now my Center 5 Investigates is going to tell us the statistics on ride sharing, which, by the way, I've never taken part in. One time I was going to, and it's a pain in the ass. I don't have a smartphone, as you know, and I had to go online and do it. And it has all these surge things, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, is this really any cheaper if I took a regular taxi? At least a regular taxi, you know up front, they can tell you approximately if you know by the meter or by the miles or whatever, like we did when we went to the hotel. But with these surges and all this crap with Ubers, it's a crapshoot. You never fucking know what it's going to cost you. It could be it's just not worth it to me. And then they have all these problems on top of it. And these are very sobering statistics. Rideshare safety. This is over just 2-year period. Driver certificates revoked 6,561. Revoked for sex-related offenses 15. The guy's going to talk about it anyway, so I don't actually have to read the little side thing. I can just do closed caption. I can try. It's not easy to do this. I don't do it very often. I did it one time when I was furious on the behalf of this very articulate young woman from another country who it was one of those cases like Permit Patty and Coupon Carl, all them. But this one was here in Massachusetts, somewhere in Boston, I think, whatever. She goes to this school. She's very articulate, and she's sitting there just eating lunch. And the security comes up to her, and you know what I mean? And she put this whole thing on Facebook, and I did a whole video on that, but it got lost in the shuffle. As in, it's somewhere. I did it on closed captions because I was just appalled. There's some that appall me more than others. I mean, she's this bright, articulate young woman, and she has to be and it's awful because you don't know what's happening to you, this poor woman. And me being white, I would never experience something like that, and I understand that. I acknowledge that. She goes to the campus. But it's some kind of ritzy or campus or something, I guess, in Massachusetts, whatever it was. The security guard felt like she was trespassing, and she's not. She's a student there. She's a young, and she was just so offended, and she's very articulate, and she wrote this whole thing, and she's like, I want an apology. I deserve an apology from this guy, and it was awful. And he called, she's just eating lunch innocently, and it winds up being the security guard and a police officer or something, like, and she goes to school there. It's so sickening. It affected me deeply, and I did a whole closed caption thing on that, but I very rarely do these closed caption things where I read what's on the TV because it's also very annoying. But I'll read it now because it's about Ubers and Lyfts and all this crap that's so the rage now, you know, that never were in my day in the past. And you have to understand, they are regular people in regular cars, and there are going to be problems, and reading these statistics are sobering, if you want to know the truth, because in our area, I think it's, I don't know if it's doing it just in Massachusetts or if it's saying across the board, but whatever it's saying, it's like 13,000 were approved. They passed all checks by the Uber service, Lyft or Uber or whatever, but the state turned them down. That's very, very sobering that you went through the ride-sharing service, passed with flying colors, but then you went that state turned you down, rejected you. Oh my God. Unreal. Anyway, let's do this. I just saw that passenger into custody. The ICE action comes just hours after. Okay, face charges, blah, blah, blah. So this guy, he faced charges. You know, he's been taken into custody by ICE. He sexually assaulted her, she said, after offering to pay her for sex, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. Now the guy's going to talk. Uber says that the allegations are, people are deeply, closed captions, some do closed captions, get paid to do closed captions, are better than others. Some are really good and some just suck. Are upsetting and have removed him, yeah, you think upsetting, and have removed him from the rideshare app. Or maybe if they're removing him from the rideshare, maybe it's a different person that was taken by ICE, but it comes hours after this one was, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Let's just watch the statistics. It all lumps into bullshit. The statistics matter more. Okay. I wonder if this is just in our state or if it's across. It might just be in our state. Probably is. All right, let's see. Ed. All right, they have suspended or revoked the certificates of 6,500 drivers since, like I said, just in the last 2 years. But then there are drivers who passed the rideshare company background check but do not get past the state's. The state denied a third, so they denied, says, okay, so not just, it's all across the United States, but anyway, they denied, can you imagine this? They passed the ride shares background checks and don't get past the state's background checks, and that's 31,102 since January 2017. That's sickening. And 845 of those were for sex-related offenses, and meanwhile, they passed their ride share and background check with flying colors. So the state does a more thorough one, apparently. Crazy, huh? So this is what it's saying. So it's January 2015, 65, 61 driver certificates revoked, across the United States, and only 15 of those were for sex-related offenses. They were revoked. I just have a hard time with it. I know there can be problems with taxis too, but I tend to take the same taxi and know the same people driving me, and I'm not going to risk Uber. I don't care if they're supposed to be cheaper. A lot of times they are not even cheaper. I know people like them too because you don't have to have cash. You can just do it right on your smartphone and everything. But alright, so 31,102 driver certificates denied. 845 of those denied. That was for sex-related offenses. $65, $61 revoked. 15 were for sex-related offenses. 31,102 denied. Revoked the certificates of 600. Then we have drivers that passed the rideshare company's background check, but they do not get past the states. The state denied a third of the drivers since January 2017. That includes nearly 850 drivers with sex-related offenses. Unreal. And these were the ones that if there were no, we didn't have state background checks, the rideshare, they passed with flying colors. Out of all those things where, where black people are just treated, our police get called on them for everyday, just doing everyday things. To me, I think one of the worst ones, I don't know if it's I don't know of all of them, but one of the top worst ones, maybe the worst one actually, I think it is that little bitch who called the cops on a 9-year-old, on a little boy, terrified he was going to go to jail because his backpack brushed her ass in a convenience store, and she called the cops on him thinking he'd grabbed her ass. I mean, oh my God. I think I already talked about this. It made me so sick. There are things, accidents that can happen. Especially, you remember, I ride trains and commuter rails and all that, and you can be squished up against people. I mean, things can happen in crowds. You can be calling the police because you think someone grabbed your ass, especially if it's a little terrified boy. And luckily, there was surveillance camera who showed he didn't grab her ass. His backpack just brushed her ass. I mean, what a fucking... That's easily at the top of my list in all of them. And I know of all of them that I've known, that at least so far, Barbecue Becky and Permit Patty and Coupon Carl and Poolside Paul, or I saw it changed to something else, and all those. But come on, a little boy, you're going to call the police on a little boy because you think he grabbed your ass? Oh, sick. He was terrified, too. He thought he was going to go to jail. That's just sickening. That's just sickening to me. Then the latest one, the guy lives in, the black guy lives in the building, and this guy, I watch these things on Inside Edition all the time. This guy is giving him a huge time, saying, prove you live in my building. He doesn't have to prove shit to you. Oh, who are you? It's awful. And none of these things would ever happen to me, being white, and I acknowledge that, I become just absolutely just beside myself when I see all these fucking things on Inside Edition, A lot of things on Inside Edition make it to World News Tonight, but not everything, you know what I mean? Yeah, it has to be really big to make it to World News Tonight. The thing with the Starbucks, that was a big thing, and Starbucks changed their tune, and now anybody who wants to, even homeless people in the middle of winter, can just hang out in Starbucks all day long if they want, as long as they don't sleep. You can't sleep, but you can sit there, which to me, like I said, I don't know how how the employees and stuff are going to feel about that, because if that happens, And you have to remember, I was in a homeless shelter for 6.5 months, so I know how it all works. We would hang out at the local library, or, you know, but the thing is, if you can hang out at Starbucks, you're going to take the seats away from the paying customers, so, I don't know. But you can't be drunk and you can't sleep. Which was the way it was at the library. Sometimes when you're sitting in the library, it's hard not to fall asleep, you know. Pugalopolis. We're going to be smart. We have time on the camera. I don't know what else to talk about. We're going to put the camera first. I won't try to grab both at the same time. I'm trying to not drop the camera, you know. And then we'll bring the light. Actually, I do know. I got to that bottom of that thing with the porn movies, penthouse porn movies showing up without, you know, on my TV, on the TV. And in the end, Comcast fucked up so bad, and I'm so angry with them, and I don't even want to get into it right now with you guys, but I will at some point. They fucked up bad. In the end, it did turn out, but the employees I called should have known this and not. It did turn out, it must have been something to do with my mom accidentally pressing buttons. It doesn't matter because everyone I talked to thought it couldn't possibly be that, and we needed to switch out the box, and switching out the box ended in disaster. I want to tell you the whole story, but we'll end with, I'm so angry I could fucking scream. I don't even want to talk about it. They switched out the box when it didn't need to be switched out, and didn't tell me that I was going to lose all my saved recordings, my DVR recordings that some I've had like for a year. And no, it's not life or death. There's a whole bunch of more important things. But when I was finally talking to someone competent and saying, I talked to a supervisor who promised me these were going to come back. They're not, Laura. They're not. They're not Miss... name of my last name, and I'm like, but I talked to a supervisor over an hour after talking to regular people. They all swore to me that it was going to come back. They were wrong. I was swearing at him. I was sickened. I said, I was promised this. He's like, nothing we could do. I'm like, how can your supervisor not know that? I was so angry. If we look back on my cell phones, I wasted so much time with this, and it was all for nothing. The box didn't need to be switched out. I lost my recordings. And no, again, it's not life or death. I understand that. But he understood, too, how angry I was. Because if they had just known and not led me on and whatever, we wouldn't have had to have a Comcast person coming. We wouldn't have had to go through any of it. And they don't know shit. They're supposed to. They work there. Especially if you talk to a supervisor you think you can trust. He's like, I know. You feel violated. You feel like one hand doesn't know what the other's doing. Yeah, all this shit. Yeah, right. And he's like, and I'm like, I called in time. The guy was still on the road. We could have got my box back. It didn't need to be switched anyway. They told me they all be switched to the new one. He's like, no, it's not true. But why was I told that? I was whining, I was swearing, I was crying. And he's like, well, try to get your box back. They haven't heard from them. I'm not going to get the box back before the hard drive gets cleaned. But I said, I caught you in time. If your supervisor had known what the fuck he was talking about, and I did swear, I don't care. I don't care. I was so angry. I'm not going to get rid of Comcast. You lied to me. We could have caught him on the road, and I could have got my box back. I don't like this box. And I had recordings saved. They were mine to save forever if I wanted to, as long as I didn't fill up my storage. And I was lied to and deceived, and it was all stupid. If your stupid employees had known from the start that it was something my mom had done that we didn't know, because apparently you can get stupid penthouse movies, $15 porn movies, as easily as you can rent a Sandra Bullock movie or something. Who would know? And they're right after the music channel, and my mom must have done something, and it made no sense because there were 4 of them there, and that and I had been told I wasn't charged for any because she didn't look the first one I called after 11. Oh my God. And in the end, if the supervisor I talked to for over an hour, I said, I'm going to be so angry, and I have all the names, I said, I'm going to be so angry with you if you're not telling me the truth. Don't worry about it. It takes time for them all to come back. Your older ones are, no, and it was wrong, it was a lie. And the final guy I was talking to, he's like, what do you want me to say, miss? They messed up, they're wrong, I know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, I could have got my box back and this wouldn't be happening. We could have caught him. Nothing could be erased in that time. He was still on the road. I called a half hour after he left to wonder where all my DVR recordings had gone. Wonder why only 100 were there when I had almost 200. And oh my God. Just add it to the list, This week, hopefully, finally. And I talked to her, and I had church woman over here, and I'm right. That goddamn shower head is almost up to the ceiling. It's like this much from the ceiling, and water is splashing on the back wall that's going to go down through the wood, and you know what I mean? It's not supposed to be like that. And she says to me, and even the old one that we had to replace last Wednesday because she wanted to do her little troubleshooting and thought it maybe was the shower head's defective before you try to go into the wall and the pipes and everything, but she chose to not have her plumber here, you get it? She should have just had her plumber here and assumed she was wrong about it defective, but she didn't. She didn't. Because he said, why do I have to come? You could fix the tub drain and you could fix the sink drain. And in the end, she got nothing done. She installed that thing. It's way too high. And she says, that hole is where your old one was. I said, my old one was different. She was like, yeah, you're right. My old shower head, handheld shower head, was completely different. It was the one I got with that filter in them. It's clearly different. It's not even the kind you buy in the store. And the fact is, she agrees with me, and I said, can I have that other one back? That's when it's at least lower. And she said, I still have it. We can trade. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. And the church woman said, you can actually have a pipe, and it can't be that expensive either, that can extend down, because the whole goal, as I told you in that short video, is to keep the water contained in the friggin' shower as much as possible. You don't want your shower head way, way up here where it can splash and is on the back wall. It's also going over the metal top of the sliding shower doors and hitting the other wall. Granted, I know you get steam on walls and everything, but steam is unavoidable. You at least want to try to avoid water splashing. Am I right or wrong? Church woman backed me up, and the contractor agreed with me. She said she would bring, when she comes this week, she'll bring an extension. And also she'll bring back the old shower head that I like better for other reasons as well. The cord doesn't hang down. It does go down more because I can't remember any of this. I feel like I'm going nuts all the time. And church woman, I said to her, was that one that one wasn't up as high, right? That you just saw recently? No, it wasn't, Laura. It went down more. And then she's like, you can get ones that go down more. I'm like, you can't pick them out in the store, though. They don't know what your bathroom looks like. And she's like, you're right, Laura, but you can get an extension, a pipe extension, that will make it go down more. So that's where we stand. I was right about that. My common sense was right. It's just common sense to me. You don't want it up that high. And then she goes, well, that's where your old one was, but my old one was a different model, a different style. It wasn't even the kind you get in store. It was Aqua something or other that I got with a filter. that my plumber had to finagle to keep from falling on my foot and breaking my foot or something, falling down, because he says your pipe, the old pipes were piping were all, it was, I told you, it was all out of code and sucky, and you know, all in all, even if it was a nightmare, my mom still got a brand new fucking bathroom, and all that piping was all out of code and was all replaced. So, and it cost in the end over $13,000, and my mom didn't have to pay a penny of it. I'm sorry, she had to pay $500 deductible, that's all. More or less, not a penny. You get it? And there's other stuff we're going to get, once we get all this place clean and stuff, there's other stuff we're going to get done on this house that needs to be done, you know. My mom has me handling. You're leery, though, after what happened here, but what can you do? People have way worse contracting nightmares. At least this contractor, no matter how many times they have to come here, is willing to fix it all, even if it's taking forever. It just sucks, because it just sucks. It all sucks. Because I just need to concentrate on getting this place clean before my mom has her cataract surgery. And I haven't been able to focus on anything but this contracting nightmare that was making me sick physically, you know. And then my mom too, and stressing her out, and then she doesn't sleep, and then I don't sleep, and then I have to sleep during the day, and then I get nothing done, and it's a vicious cycle. Trying. It's all getting done slowly, okay? You know, just trust me on that one. It is. It's just a slow process. Because there really isn't anything my mom can do. She can't. If all our stuff is mixed, I mean, I have to give her little tasks, but if all our stuff's mixed together, she's just not, she can't. She can't really help, you know? Not to that great of extent. I do have her helping here or there a little bit, but I have to do the majority of it, and that's fine. That's how it is, you know. But if I haven't had a chance to do it for whatever reason, the ongoing contracting thing and me being sick and not being able to sleep and etc., then, you know, what are you going to do? We can only do what we can do, right? Oma's birthday is February 16th. He'll be 12. He's older than Grandma. He's older than Grandma right now at 11. When he was 10, was he older than Grandma? I'm not sure. That would have been 70. That would have been... Then I think he was like around Grandma's age. But he's older than Grandma now, right? You're going to be older than Grandma. You're older than Grandma now. You're going to be 88. You're going to be 88. It's 12. No. Do your math right, Laura. 12 and 7. 84, right? 84. You can be 84. That's more than 10 years older than Grandma. You're more than 10 years older than Grandma now. You know that? 10 years older than Grandma. Way, way older than Mama. Way older than